Hi, you're welcome once again to your favorite home front on EWTV. So good to have you join us once again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, we remain your host, Ruth and Ibuka Ede. Thank you again for joining in.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we have a very interesting topic for discussion today. And we are going to talk about oneness in the home.
Wow.
Yes, oneness in the home is our topic for discussion. I'm sure you're like, of course we are one. If we are not one, why did we get married, or why are we making a home? There is more to it than just being married. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss today. Previously, we have talked about the institution of marriage. You know, it was the will of God to form marriage. It was his idea and never our idea. And we talked about him planning out the course of marriage for us. But today on this discussion, we want to look at practically what does it mean to be one in marriage? What steps do we take towards maintaining oneness in marriage? Enjoy the show.
Yes, thank you very much. You know, this is very key in the home or in the marriage, because so many times, you know, the couple, they may look as if they are one, but they're actually divided. A lot of people they just look, they may act it, but right within their heart, they know that there's a lot of disconnection. That's why you see a couple that they're even separated, but they're living in the same house. Some couple are even divorced, but they're living in the same house. So oneness is beyond just, you know, being in a particular place at a time or wearing a uniform and a co. Is beyond that. It's a matter of the heart, and it emanates from there. When we have not achieved oneness on the inside, it will not be able to express on the outside everything that pertains to us as couples in the homes. And you know, this oneness is critical because there are so many things you can't do as a couple if you are not united. And there's so many issues a family will have when there's no oneness. When there's no, you know, unity, when there's no bond, when there's no oneness in the mind, in the spirit, in the body, when there's no agreements. And so most of the issues we have in the home is because of the misunderstanding of people not understanding that two has become one. So I can no longer do what I want to do just because I want to do it, just because I like living in Lagos, then we must be in Lagos. Just because I like Canada, then we must be in Canada. You have to understand that we are one, and whatever decision we take as one. There need to be discussion, there need to be an agreement, you know, there need to be understanding. No matter how good your intention might be, that understanding needs to be there. I know there are different areas in marriage where this oneness needs to be, you know, actualized. In the last edition, we talked about child upbringing, and that is one area that so many families are lacking in living out this oneness, because in some families, the same way the husband was raised, it's not the same way the wife was raised. So they are coming from two different backgrounds, and sometimes the man wants to say, when we were growing, this is not how they brought us up. My father used to knock our head. He used to break us. If not that they hit my head, I wouldn't be here today. Why the woman is saying no? That is not how they didn't hit my head. But sometimes some people are even saying because they hit them, that's why they are the good. Are they actually good? If you look down, they are actually hurting. When you still want to hit that child, it means something is wrong with you. You're abnormal. Somebody who wants to keep hitting the head of a child before the child does something. So most people are defining what they are coming from because of what they feel. And so they bring that into marriage. But that is not it. When you come in raising children, you have to agree. What is the best for us? What is the best way we can raise this child? You know, how best can we come and agree in raising a proper child? So, actually in upbringing, oneness is key. You have to remove background and discuss as a couple. So when we don't, you know, come to agree as a couple to know the best way is actually the best way. What is best for our child, especially in this time? And remove background and culture. No, this is where we are coming from. My children must wear this or must wear that. Oh, we grew up in America. These children must wear. You know, what is the best way for us? And then, as little as this might, you know, look, it causes a lot of division in marriage because we've not come to agree. There's no agreement. An agreement does not just fall from the air. It's something we have to learn to discuss. So many couples don't sit down to discuss what is the best way. Because when there's no understanding on the other side, no matter how good that might seem, the person will not be able to practice it or willingly, you know, give in to doing that. So oneness in marriage, especially as it relates to child upbringing, is key.
You know, this is a very critical, very, very critical discussion in this time. You see, we see, like you said, there are a lot of disconnects going on in decision taking, in raising children. There is no blend at all. And you know, this is the reason why we need to take it seriously when we talk about oneness. The family cannot make progress when this is lacking. Because you see, even in the aspect of oneness, in a way, you model what your children will be. You model unity even among the children. You know, when your child is coming to you and is saying to you one thing, and you know, going to mommy is saying a different thing. You know, there is already a clear disconnect. And amongst the children, unconsciously, you just begin to see this disconnect among them.
And most of them now have factions.
Yes, daddy, this sex belongs to daddy.
First child, mommy, and a lot of
you know, I totally... It may be true, but I feel we can change the narrative that says that the girl child is attached to her dad and the boy is attached to the mother. I think that's in a way we are dissecting the family. We are beginning to set factions in the family. We need to pay attention to the issue of oneness. And like you said, oneness will not just fall in the air. There is a place of agreement. There's a place where you sit together and agree. You know, I've seen cases where a couple say, okay, recently we even had a discussion on that. As someone said, my husband just got up one day and said, we are moving to Kenya. And she was like, how? I'm not going.
I'm not going.
And you see the kind of fight that comes in marriage because oneness has been removed. So before any decision is taken, there is a place of a blend. Couple must be able to sit down and blend and say, okay, what do we need to do? Why do we need to do? A lot of homes are built on culture. And trust me, culture does not take any home to any place. You don't, no home thrive or grows in culture. Oh, my family does it this way. And because my family does it this way, that is the way it must be. That is the way we must raise our children. God who gave you the child, you've not even gone back to God and say, what is the way you want me to raise this child? And so following the cultures of our parents, we just discovered that we are raising children that are not proper.
Very true. Thank you for raising that issue on decision making. I think we'll buttress more on that even after this short break. So we're going on a very short break. I'll be right back. Please join us. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget that you can reach us on our social media handles if you have a question on what we are discussing on any issue at all that relates to the family. Please feel free to reach us on our handles. You can send us a private message, you can send us a mail, or you can reach out to us through the social media handles displayed on the screen. And also forget that you can go to the chat room here and also reach out to us. You have a question, you have a comment based on what we are talking about. Please feel free. So we are talking about oneness in the marriage and how that affects us. And before we went on break, we are talking about decision making and how this is critical to marriage, because you know that a decision or that something is good does not make it, does not mean you can just go ahead with it without consulting one another. There is need for agreement. Some people will say, but I bought the car, it's for the family. But I used the money to do this, it's for the family. That you bought the land with it. What stops you from discussing with your spouse? So sometimes people have gone to the fact that, but I did something good. I don't know why he got angry. But there was no agreement.
I remember a scenario that we had that happened to us where I went for an interview, a job interview, and I got the job. And there were some terms and conditions that were not favorable to the family, but I accepted anyway without consulting my husband. I was like, hey, I've got a job. Oh, glory. I came back. And I came back to inform him to okay my decision. And shocking as it was, he said, no. And I felt so hot. And the hot was so bad that I now said, I stopped talking to him. I will not talk to him again. He doesn't want my progress. He doesn't want me to do what I wanted. But that was because there was no agreement.
We didn't sit to discuss.
We didn't sit to agree. We didn't sit to put it down on the table and say, okay, how do you do this? How would this affect the children? How would this affect our relationship? How would this affect our communication, our intimacy? We didn't look at all of that, and then I was hurting. Seriously hurting. Maybe he would tell us about that.
But by the time we now sat down and looked at it critically, we both saw that it was not going to work.
In fact, I was even thanking God that I didn't go ahead with it. Yes.
So many times it's just because we have not sat down to look at this thing as a couple and agree. Most time when you're just seeing it from your own view, from your own point, you feel, oh, I'm right. That's the best thing. But if we actually sit and agree and listen to one another, so many times we don't listen. Some people are just they're just looking at you as if, but they're not actually listening.
Yes.
And in agreement, in discussion, involve listening. Understand?
Yes.
Removing sentiments as a couple and say, okay, what works best for us? Let's put this at the table. Let's dissect it. Let's look at the future. Let's look at the impact in the life of our children. Now we see so many children wayward. Some children are in drugs. Some children are in all manner of things. And when some parents look back, they'll be like, maybe if I take this decision, this child will not have been here. And that decision you were thinking, because of the family. By the time that child is in crisis, you can't be there. Everybody is disturbed. Everybody is scattered. And when we look back, some family will be like, we made a mistake. And then one will not be saying, Shebi, I told you. If you are listening.
And that's where they push and say, foolish son. Say shame of the mother.
We haven't seen the impact in the children. We haven't seen the impact. At the long run, most time when we take decision, we just think about the now. Yes. But in agreement, in oneness, you look and envisage the future. And plan. So in decision, no matter how minute, whether it's even to do something for the house, no matter how small, you need to agree. And when we don't do this, there's a lot it leads to. That's when we now see rancor, we now see bitterness, we now see resentment, we now see a lot of unforgiveness in the family. And those are the things that always emanate from this disagreement or lack of oneness. Yes. And that can really ruin a home.
Yes, and talking about unforgiveness, because you have something in mind, you have a choice, and your spouse is not understanding at that point your plan, and you have not sat down to discuss and come to agreement, come to understanding, you begin to attack your spouse. Now, we need to be very careful, couples. If your marriage means anything to you, if your home means anything to you on the aspect of forgiveness, you must learn to attack the problem and not your spouse.
Very true.
When you begin to keep quiet and say, okay, I'm not going to talk to
this man.
We are just going to stay. And you begin to malice in marriage. The time you will spend raising correct children, you are malicing. You know what you are doing? You are attacking your spouse. You are not attacking the problem. And the problem keeps growing. And it keeps growing. And it gets to a point where we see is divorce. Oh, he doesn't respect my opinion. Oh, he doesn't respect my choices. But is that really the case? I think the case is the table of understanding. You both need to sit down. I have my choice. He has his choice. We have his understanding. I have mine. Let's reach a point. And in reaching a point, couple, believe me, some of his will drop. Some of yours will drop. You will pick some from him. He will pick some from you. And you will reach a point. And believe me, your children are watching you. You are modeling love. You are modeling leadership. You are modeling understanding to your children.
And understanding really involves a lot of sacrifice, like from the word understanding. So you are standing under. It's as if you are bringing yourself under so that you can stand. So many times you don't want to bring yourself down and under. And you can't understand. That's why you are not standing, because you have not come down. I like what you say about separating the problem from the person. That your husband maybe shouted on you. Don't look at your husband. What happened is the shout. The problem is that, okay, the way he addressed me was wrong. Not my husband.
Your husband is not the wrong.
It's not the wrong. Not that my husband is wrong. The attitude. Understand? Most time we remove the attitude and we focus on the person. The husband shouted, and it doesn't mean he's a madman. But most time when I say my husband, he's my husband. What has he done? Shout. He shouts the name of your husband. So it's an attitude and not the person. So many problems in the home, we are focused on the person and remove the attitude. Leave the person and deal with the attitude. Understand? Because when you're dealing with the attitude, you're dealing with holistically, you're dealing with understanding, because you have removed your husband from it. It's this thing that is affecting us. How do we deal with the issue of talking to one another? And most people come from a different background. You cannot just want your husband or your wife to behave the way you are. You are two different entities coming together. You must understand that you are coming from a different background, and you have to learn to understand yourself to blend. So
let me quickly say something about this issue of unforgiveness. This is what we do. You are your husband, and your husband is you. So when you're attacking your husband, you are attacking yourself. I think we must begin to see it like that, and that's why two have become one. So when you're pointing fingers to your husband, when those negative thoughts you think towards him, oh, I wish as he's just thinking, I'm let him just hit his head, let him just lose his job. Hello. You're talking to yourself.
Of course.
You are hurting yourself. So we must watch the thoughts that we think, even when we are hurt.
To him also affects
you.
You know, as we close this segment, we are watching a video the other time, and the man was talking about a family, and he said, if you are keeping malice with your husband and suddenly your child begins to converse, will you say, let this child die? Me, I'm not talking to my husband. Let this child die. You, I beg. What will you do?
Husband.
Yeah. Understand? What is malice? Malice what? Our child is dying. Both of you will work together to help
see the life
child.
of that child restored.
Somebody will not even know that
there was a problem. You yourself will not remember.
You will not even remember. Why? Because there's trouble. The life of that child. I will learn that when we understand the purpose of a marriage, there is something your marriage is created for. There is something you are about to save through your marriage. You will not give room to this, because at that time you know that this marriage now is not what is important. There is a focus.
Life.
So many people are in a marriage, but they don't have a purpose. They don't have a goal. They don't have a focus. And when you don't have a focus, anything goes. Anything distracts you. But see, when we understand our focus, just like that child, you will not allow anything to even affect your oneness, because you know there's a goal you must pursue. And if you don't achieve it, something is at stake. I think it has been a beautiful time discussing oneness in marriage, and I believe that we are all learning a lot, our viewers. If there's an issue you are going through, some of us need to go back and have a time of talk with your husband. You need to go back again and evaluate. You need to learn to forgive, because when you don't forgive, you are giving that person an opportunity to take over your mind. It's as if you are taking poison and expecting it to hurt your husband. It will hurt you and to eventually hurt your marriage. Let's learn to let go and build the marriage of our dream.
Thank you very much, viewers, for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We remain your hosts, Ruth and Ebuka Ede. So see you again next time.
Bye-bye. Bye.